Well, welcome back to Japan.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It's good to be back, right? Could you tell everyone where you went?
I went to the University of Exeter in England, and I've been there for about 9 months.
You were there for 9 months.
Yeah.
And did you feel that time went really quickly?
Yeah, it flies really fast.
Wow. So when did you get back?
I got back in the day before yesterday, 17th of June.
So you were in England for 9 months, and you studied at the University of Exeter.
Yeah.
Could you tell us, what was the program you enrolled in?
My program was called Study Abroad with English, and in the first half semester, I took academic English, and then in the second half semester, I took academic English as well, but the rest of the half was undergraduate modules. So my course was film studies. Yeah, so I mainly studied about the film in academic way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that you learned? How were the classes? Could you tell us about the classes?
So my classes was there was international students, and in academic English there was the old students were from abroad, mainly Asian students, and there was Thai students and Chinese students and Saudi students. And they are really engaging, and they look really, they have a really huge passion, and it was really fun to study with them.
How many people were in your class?
Around 10, I think.
Wow.
And so I think the number is really ideal for improving English.
Yeah, it's actually quite a small number.
Yeah, definitely.
So could you take me through a day in your life? So what time did you wake up, and what did you do in the morning and starting class and after class?
I usually get up around 7 or 8, then go to the school, go to the building to have the classes. Then class starts from probably around 9, or the latest one is from 2 p.m. and I had classes. The class finishes up maybe about 4 or 5 p.m. So then one day I just go back to my accommodation, or just get back or go to the city center to go some shoppings, or sometimes there was a social for some societies. So I just enjoyed. I went there and enjoyed talking with my friends, and that was the main way to spend my weekdays.
So you mentioned that you woke up and you basically started class in the morning at 9 a.m. and then you had a lunch and you did classes in the afternoon until 3 or 4. So what were the lunch? Did you go on campus for lunch, or did you go off campus?
Basically, I was on the campus because it takes about 20 minutes to get to the city center, where there is a lot of restaurants, and so it's a bit difficult to make on time for the next classes. So I usually order sandwiches or bread for croissant. Yeah, that's a typical life for me.
So actually, that's something I wanted to ask. What did they have on the lunch menu?
Lunch menu is really ordinary. As I said, there was croissant, just a sandwich, or sometimes I just eat snacks like popcorns or crisps. So and it's really frugal. Yeah.
And you also mentioned that sometimes after you finished class, you would go to your accommodations, or that you would go to the city center, hang out with your friends, go to a pub. But you also mentioned a social.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's a social?
Social means it's a kind of the party. It's not a party, but people gathering and then having fun to drink alcohol and just interaction. Yeah, to make some friends or to just interact with people, and that was really typical things in the UK university.
So for those who also like drinking or enjoying pubs, can you tell us what they were like? I imagine England is like the place where pubs began.
Yeah.
So what was it like?
there's always many people, and of course families and friends, and some pubs have like television to broadcast like football games, and so sometimes on the weekends there was a lot of supporters for each team, and I was one of them. It's really fun to watch football, especially during the World Cup.
And you mentioned that you have like a bunch of people in your class, and that you were able to make friends. Could you tell us like what kinds of friends were you able to make?
The easiest person to get along with is someone who is interested in Japanese culture or Japan, because some of them might speak Japanese, and that's really a good way to make friends. Or just we can have an interest for those countries, and they speak English obviously. So that's a good way to make friends in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And you were staying in Exeter. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us what kind of city is Exeter?
It's a small city, but it's really comfortable to live. But there was a lot of international students as well as the British people. Exeter I would say it's a countryside city, so many shops are closing around 6 p.m. It might be inconvenient sometimes, but I recommend to live in Exeter.
What would you say is like the beautiful or great things about Exeter, and what are the things that you thought you didn't like about Exeter?
As I said, what I didn't like Exeter is like nearly all the shops are closing around 6 p.m. So especially on weekend. Also, I didn't like the hay fever because that was really intense. So as intense as Japan. So I didn't like hay fever there. But the nature was really good, and I like how they spend on the weekends because they are chilling at the Exeter is like the river, and around river there was a lot of cafes, so their families and friends are chilling there. I really love to see it. I feel if you go to Exeter, you can feel like the importance of the free time. You can learn how to spend the holidays.
Do you feel that, in terms of the atmosphere, Japan has a very, distinct atmosphere and cultural feel?
Yeah.
What's it like in Exeter?
Exeter is quite British city, I think. There was pubs and cafes, and weather was not good. And especially in winter, I rarely see sun. So you can feel the UK if you come to Exeter. So there was a lot of there's not so many people from other cultures. So it's really British city. Yeah.
And could you have any crazy stories, things that happened that were unexpected or funny stories?
In Exeter?
Your entire time in England.
There was a lot of train strikes, and that was really annoying. And it's really so I think it has got more, not often, but I think there was maybe 1 day per week on train strikes. So it's really difficult to plan a trip to England.
So no crazy stories, I guess, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that's amazing about being in Europe, or in England and UK, is pretty easy to travel around to other places. Mm-hmm. Did you do any traveling within England or outside of England?
Yeah, quite a few. And so there was 2 big breaks during my study abroad, and so during Christmas break and Easter break I went to travel Europe, and on weekends I usually travel within the UK, within England. I didn't go to like Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, so I regret it a bit.
So where did you go, and what were those places like?
I went to London, of course, and my purpose to go to London is like to feel. Initially, I really want to visit some famous spots or some places, but and after the half of my study abroad, I went to London to go to like Japan Center to get the food of to get Japanese food, or just to go to Japanese restaurant or Japanese hair salon, and that's the purpose to go to London changed to visit to feel Japan, and I traveled around Europe, I think more than 15 countries, and of those I found it's really interesting that especially when I went to the Belgium and Switzerland, because there was 3 different languages and so like the staff started talking in English because there was different languages. So it's really interesting to see how different languages works in just one country.
How would you say that you have gained confidence?
I usually looked back on myself but I came to look forward to the future. So I miss of course I miss the UK, but I'm looking for my possibilities in the future.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you. So what are your plans for the future?
I didn't have like any specific way to realize yet, and I'm still wondering what I want to do, but I'm interested in helping people. So I feel like the studying abroad is one of the privileges. So I think I'm a really fortunate person to have such a great experiences. So, and I want to share those experiences to the people, those who wasn't not in a good situation, who is not sufficient situation. So I want them to like have not the same but similar good experiences as me.
And do you generally have something you want to share with other Japanese people? Like you want to encourage them or recommend them to go abroad?
I realized it's really important to throw away the Japanese common sense, because abroad it's really different to Japan, because in terms of like lifestyles and culture and especially language, so it must be really hard. So study abroad is obviously really fun, but at the same time it's really hard and it's really challenging and it's really tough. So going abroad it's not studying abroad, it's not like traveling, and it includes like living and adapting to other cultures and to seeing a lot of like reality. So it's not always positive and it's not always give like some like bright thing, but you should see some negative aspects of the world. So, but it gives you the other thoughts. So that's definitely helps in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to just say thank you for being the YouTube ambassador in England.
Yeah,
I think that you had a lot of great experiences, and I'm really happy that we can share some of those experiences.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.